Hello and welcome to a short educational snack on using VirtualBox or using virtualization technology. Just a brief comment before we go through a very little simple practical example. We would typically use virtualization software to enable us to run different operating systems, in particular. Different operating systems on different hardware. So in this short example here, I'm running off a Mac operating system, and I'm going to be creating a virtual image for a Linux Ubuntu flavor. So if you haven't got VirtualBox installed, you should go to the link here, virtualbox.org, and follow the links down to downloads and pick your own platform. So your host machine is your desktop machine, and then pick whatever releases for your host machine and download it, install it. Once you install it, you get a little icon, little VirtualBox icon, and when you open up VirtualBox, you see something like this. Okay, so when the first time you open it up, you're not going to have any machines at all, but I have a number of different machines created here. And what we're going to do is we're going to build up a very simple machine by clicking on the new icon. When we click on the new icon here, it brings us through to this new wizard to help us get going. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have a pre-built image, so a VirtualBox image, and I'm simply going to create a new machine that's going to point at that image. Okay, so in other words, if you already have an image created and you want to share that image with your friends, what you could simply do is you could save your image or save the state of your machine, copy that VirtualBox file, and it should be portable as long as the other user has VirtualBox running on their machine also. So we click continue. So we're going to give this machine a name. So I'm going to call it phone machine. The operating system that's going to be running it's a Linux, and the flavor it pops up as Ubuntu, but the flavor is Ubuntu, just a flavor of Linux that's going to be running. So we click continue. I have 8 gigs of RAM on this machine. Now Ubuntu will normally run with a very small amount of RAM. It sounds roughly half a gig of RAM. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up to about 2 gigs of RAM, just to give it a little bit extra. Okay. Really, this will have effect of the performance on the machine. But if you're only running your virtual machine, and you're not using your host system, well, you should probably try to maximize the RAM that you're going to run here. I'm going to click continue. Now here it's asking me here, do I want to set up my virtual hard disk? So we've got two options. We can create a new hard disk where we would normally download an ISO file for an image of an operating system from one of the vendors, or we can point simply to an existing hard disk. So I'm going to say I'm going to use an existing hard disk, okay, and this is pointing off to a disk. Okay, and I'm going to go and choose my virtual disk. And in my file hierarchical structure here, I can see I have a digital h.vdi. So it's a VirtualBox image. And I click on this guy here and click open. And now this is pointing up to my image that's saved on my host machine. So I click continue. And now it tells me here you're going to create a new virtual machine with the following parameters. The name is Fun Machine, the operating system type is Ubuntu, the base memory, it's going to use 2 gigs of RAM whenever it boots up, and it's pointing at this digital H image. Okay, so this is a pre-existing image that I've already built. Okay, it says if this is correct, click create. So now it's after creating the new Fun Machine, and we can see here on the right hand side of the pane here we have our preview Fun Machine, and it goes down through all of the various system settings. Okay, right way down through, and it's telling us here that it's hooking on through the network. The adapter is the Intel Pro adapter, and simply these are the default settings that are associated with this machine. So what this machine should be able to do is hook on to whatever internet connection you're running on your host machine. It should come through that adapter there. Okay, just as if you were plugging in. So it's almost like you have a cable hooked into the machine, and it does that nice connection for you. So you shouldn't have to play around with that setting. Okay, so once I've selected my fun machine now, it's powered off. So I want to start it. So I click on the green arrow here and I click start. And I can see that my fun machine is loading up now. So it's simply pointing off to a VirtualBox image that's sitting on my host machine. This will take, well, depending on your machine, a couple of seconds to start up. So I think one of the biggest benefits that you have with things like virtual machines is I can build a machine here, and I'm pretty sure that it will run pretty well, or pretty good across multiple machines as long as the proper software is installed. Okay, so I have a user set up on this VirtualBox image. The user is called Digital H, and my password is simply password. And when I log in, I can see now that I'm running a Ubuntu image. Okay, so I have my Ubuntu operating system running here on top of my Mac. Okay, and you can see it's pretty cool. Okay, we can the usual stuff. My dash home here, so I can open it up, and it's a fully functioning Ubuntu image that's running here, and I can do all of the normal typical stuff. Okay. On my desktop here, I have the exist setup. So it's an XML namespace database. I have a database startup icon on my desktop, so I simply double click on my exist icon here in my database, and it's going to kick off the scripts to start up the exist database running across port 8080 off the local host. Okay, and we can see here that it's actually listening up on port 8080. So to access that server, I simply double click on a browser. So I have Firefox installed on the Ubuntu image, and when we load up our web browser, we can see again it comes up just as if you were just inside of this new virtual machine. And I click inside of here, and I click on the local host, colon off port 8080 exist, hit return, and this should bring me to the index page. So it gives me a nice front end view of the page here. Okay, and then we're ready to start using exist, and we can read down through the stuff here and get going with some simple development of some databases and run a whole bunch of X queries to link up those databases together. Okay, well, thanks for listening, and I hope that was of some help.